you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed. What is the long-term effect of too much information?
Information, I just need some information. I've been dying. Is it lack of education? I've been reading without any transformation. I'm addicted. Is it overstimulation? Hey.
Welcome to the Sixth Sense Report.
Hear ye, come one, come all. You are listening to the Sixth Sense Report with Joel Nikoloff and Darnell Samuels.
I think I should tell everybody that I'm reporting from prison or social media prison. Not that I haven't been there already.
Social media prison? Come on, man.
Yeah, me and my 1,000 follower accounts are somehow causing such a ruckus that I need to be, given a little slap on the wrist, ruler to the palm.
Well, I don't know, man. Well, okay, so for the listeners, yes, you saw the title, you read the caption. Yeah, Joel's been in some hot water with Instagram lately. Also, has Facebook kind of been on you?
Yeah, no. I mean, I've. So what's funny is I started looking at for the listener, I don't have Instagram. It's no longer active. TJoelN39 seems to be gone forever. I got a bit of a funny story that I'll come back to. The day I got banned was really peculiar. But if I go on my Facebook, I think I currently have this your account is restricted for the next 90 days. If you behave. But I have a tweet that I posted, sort of demonstrating one of my bans, one of my one of my Instagram discretions is maybe a good way to put it. I posted essentially this tweet that I'm banned from Instagram. And there's one last effort I made to try to get back to my account. And I'll tell the story that's sort of the basis for that request. But one of my comments that was removed on Instagram that got me flagged, I think I was commenting on something about, the economy needed to be managed. And I said, Canadians are ignorant of economics if they think the economy needs to be managed. What do you think was the criteria for removing that comment?
I don't know.
Hate speech.
Oh, it was hate speech.
It's hate speech.
Oh.
So, I had some other ridiculous things. I remember, I think it's Pete Rock had a couple posts back in mid 2020 that I just tried to share and got me flat, those posts got removed. But it was it was his video. And if anyone who's been following him on Instagram, I don't share controversial things myself.
You share other people's controversial things.
Yes, exactly. But the point is, it's that part of me is I think these things are interesting. I don't always agree. Many times I agree, or at least think it's an interesting point. What's peculiar is that I had a handful of maybe one or two of these comments got removed for something similar to this statement, which is basically me criticizing the mainstream socialist economic perspective. But somehow it's deemed hate speech because I said Canadians are ignorant of economics if. Mm-hmm. So I'll put that tweet in the show notes page if anyone wants to see it. What's really funny is on that tweet, I've got a whole bunch of replies that I can almost guarantee are bots that are send me a DM and I'll help you recover your account. Send me and it's all broken English, horrible, giving me phone numbers in a tweet reply. I have I think it's I don't know where they went now, but I was in my notifications. I had so many replies. Now I see 3 of them, but I swear there was more. But the point is that the day I got banned, this pizza place that I followed was literally trying to hack my password. Well, I shouldn't say hack. They were trying to scam me into giving me the password recovery information so they could change my password. So
I think I got one of those, but not from a pizza place.
So the pizza place sends me this message. They're like, "Hey, you want to help me with a contest?"
Yes.
And I was like, "Sure."
Okay.
And then it was something it didn't make any sense to me because I was the reply. They sent me 2 messages and I was just well, this I don't understand. because I was expecting them, a standard, hey, here's this contest I'm in. Go there to the link and register and vote for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Rafer was when he was trying to be like best dad or something. Best dad bod.
Yeah.
So those kind of links, right? So, but this guy it was something like, send me a screenshot or something. And I was very confused. But anyways, I figured out what he was trying to do was get me to send a screenshot of the code to reset my password by tricking me into thinking that he was sending this request to my email for the contest to help vote for him. So anyways, I sort of figured that out. I wasn't cooperating. And I sort of speculated that that person decided, when they realized I sort of caught on to what they were doing, decided to flag me or hit me as like, with some sort of like reporting.
No, I know.
My point is the same day that I got my account.
Yeah,
just
no,
nuked.
no, I don't think so, because I got something like that as well. But it was from somebody that is someone that I follow, someone that follows me, but I don't really have conversations with that person. They're like, "Oh, do you want to support my clothing brand? I'm starting a new clothing brand. Do you want to support it? I'm going to send you a link to your
In your email,
to your phone number. Take a screenshot and send it to me or something like that."
Yeah. That's that. Yeah.
Oh man, hey, you know what's crazy?
Almost did it.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not a supportive person. so, so in my mind, I was like, nah, that's all right. Honestly, I try not to feel guilty. I try not to do nice things out of guilt. Like, that's kind of like my thing. Like, if I'm going to do something nice for you, it's because I want to, not because I'm guilted into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of held out, and then you said that. So I don't think you being banned was because of that. I think you were banned because you were being a bad boy.
Well, so okay, here's my well, by their standard maybe, but my only counter to that was I don't recall anything recent that would have been sort of ban worthy. Like, I don't recall. It was like, mid COVID, mid all this craziness, I was definitely getting a lot of posts tagged with like, please see the, whatever government sponsored link for this, proper fact check. And I like, we're sort of past that. So to me, my point was not like, you're not wrong. There's a chance that it's just completely coincidental that was happening on the same day. But It was just that, like, all of this was happening. I was getting multiple password reset requests. And then when the last one, they like literally Instagram asks me to put in the code that was just sent to me to log back in. And I did that. And then it's like, oh, your account's under review. We'll let you know in 24 hours. I was like, huh? This doesn't make any sense. Right? Like,
yeah, well,
it was very peculiar. Again, going back to the fact that this guy's like asking for password resets on my account, like, because I'm getting the notifications for the password resets.
Yeah,
right?
But you know what though, for the listeners, like, you've been shadow banned before.
Well, for a long time.
And for a long time. So for the listeners, can you explain to them what shadow banned is?
Okay, so I'll use simple numbers. It's roughly accurate, but like, so middle of last year, I was probably getting like 100 views a post, or a story, I should say. And then one day, it was down to 20 and never went over 20 for like, let's say a month. And people would tell me my Instagram. You were
getting over 100?
Yeah, I was getting over 100 views on my Instagram stories. No, but that includes Facebook stories.
Okay.
So like, because people watching on Facebook, my Instagram story. So I would hit anywhere, roughly around 100 per story. I have a lot of people that like, just want to know what I have to say. They know how I think about things. They know that I'm not some just like anti anything, that I'm well thought through my position. So, well, at least that's what I like to think. But that's why they're curious. So that dropped to 20. So the way that I circumvented that shadow ban, I started hiding the "Let's Get Vaccinated" stickers on all my posts. So I would put it behind the picture so no one could actually click on it. And essentially I was messing with the algorithms to make them think I was on their side. And
what? Hold on, wait. Joel, you're okay. Hold on, man.
And it worked. It worked.
Sorry, man. Yo, I'm lost. I'm lost.
Okay, so the "Let's Get Vaccinated" stickers on Instagram. Remember
Okay,
how they?
no, I didn't know about it.
Okay, they
I
have
don't
this
know
like
about it.
let's get vaccinated or stickers. So
Right.
what was happening early on is if you put that sticker on your post, they wouldn't flag your post as fact checked. Please go see the COVID link.
Right.
And so if you hid the sticker behind your post, they couldn't actually click on the link. But then Instagram wouldn't flag your link.
Okay. All right. I didn't know about this. All right, keep going.
So I was doing that. Then when you share a reel, it doesn't work, like because you can't hide it behind it. So then I'd put like the poop emoji over top of it, or just little things to just be sort of like, hey, I'm gonna mess with their algorithm. So that happened like last year. I was sort of fighting back. Let's say for the last 6 months, if I commented on someone's post and they hit reply, they couldn't tag me. It wouldn't let you hit post. You'd have to delete the tag for me to reply to my comments. And then if you shared a post with, you couldn't tag me in it. So like when I was at the
and
Leafs game,
I knew that because
6 cents.
6 cents, and then
like you're trying to tag me on.
I tried to. You know what? No, I tried to tag you on your birthday.
Oh, that's right.
I tried to tag you on your birthday, and I couldn't get you. And they said, "Oh no, we're not gonna.
This person
gonna let you
is a delinquent.
Yeah, we can't. I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you wish your boy a happy birthday."
So a couple times I shared Sam Say's posts, and you know how Sam on his Slow to Write page would show like he'll share other people sharing his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When he did that, you couldn't click to go to my post. So if you notice, a lot of times when Sam shares someone else's share, you can click and it'll take you to their page.
Right.
You can't click when it's someone sharing my share.
Right.
So all these things, these are examples of the shadow ban, right? So like it's not blatant, it's not obvious, but little features are taken away from you. This never happened to me, but another way people get shadow banned is that link function where you could paste a link to be part of your Instagram post. They would disable that functionality for people because they were sending them links that they were not approved of too much. So
okay.
Yeah, and then I still think I'm banned on, or I have the, let's call it restricted on Facebook. But,
Okay. So you've had a restriction on Facebook. You've had you've been you got the boot on IG, and then you're also on Twitter. Has Twitter ever given you any warnings?
I don't believe so. Nothing.
Actually, no. I got a warning from them. I got a copyright warning just recently.
Oh,
yeah, I got a copyright warning for reposting something. That I found on IG. Something about shoveling snow.
So random.
Something about shoveling snow. Then they gave me a warning and that they may ban my account if I do it again. But it was just about shoveling snow in a way to shovel your snow a bit faster.
It must have had like a song in the background.
A song in it or something, yeah. Yeah. It's probably like an instrumental
playing. Dude, I just saw this headline. I probably won't find it for the listener, but cops were doing the same thing to prevent people from live streaming. They'll start playing like a song that would cause the stream to get banned for copyright infringement. So you start playing like a Disney song on a live stream, the algorithm picks it up and crashes the live stream.
Interesting. Well, I guess, okay, so probably not Twitter, but, and that kind of brings up the conversation about Elon Musk, billionaire extraordinaire, about to looking to buy Twitter. And so, we've kind of talked about it in passing in regards to, us doing the podcast and navigating social media.
Yeah, what was it called? The Bill C10. It's sort of related.
Sort of related, but I just mean we've kind of made offhanded jokes, or just a conversation about our weapon of choice when it comes to social media. Remember those kind of back and forths, right? And in light of Elon about to buy Twitter, what is your weapon of choice?
I mean, it was Instagram.
Hold on. Well, just for the listeners, because sometimes for the listeners are kind of for those who, because we do have listeners, a good percentage of our listeners who aren't on social media, And to them I say good for you. Good for you. But just to be, I want to define what the purpose of these social media platforms are. Okay, so this is from the modernnonprofit.com. We'll put a link to it in the show notes and a couple other stuff we may mention. Okay, so Facebook. So it's used for connecting with friends and family, event invites, and news and information. It's used by almost everyone. So it's 1.6 billion people and counting. Personally, I don't think it's used by teens. They probably, the kids in my class, they kind of laugh at that.
Oh no,
Facebook.
Facebook's for the 30+ crowd.
Yeah, man, this is for the OGs. Facebook's for the OGs. It's for the family. Facebook stands for family, right? The family book. Instagram, it's used for visual inspiration, connecting with friends and family, storytelling. It's used by everyone except people 65 and over. Leans female and millennial. Best for nonprofits with strong visual media content, i.e. animal organizations, art museums, etc. Twitter, that's industry networking, news and information, used by professionals, activists, thought leaders, college educated people under 50. People it's best for networking, public relations. Most journalists are on Twitter. That's right. That's why we're on it. Advocacy organizations, nonprofit leaders. So yeah, Twitter definitely fits the 6 Cents Report brand. Snapchat. We're not on Snapchat. Snapchat, storytelling, connecting with friends and family. It's used by teens and young adults. Best for forward-thinking nonprofits trying to connect with young people, nonprofits with strong story or visual content. Then you have LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is used for networking, business to business, sales, professional development, used by college graduates aged 30 to 64. Best for advocacy organizations, hiring talent, finding volunteers, recruiting board members. And then the last one, Pinterest. My wife loves Pinterest. It's used for planning projects, visual inspiration, discovery, and sharing for new content and style. Used by women, 71%. Mobile users, 75%. Best for nonprofits with great images to share. Low quality images won't receive traction or products to sell.
So you started to ask me, and I kind of already answered it, but my weapon of choice. And I was saying, like, what's funny is, I mean, it used to be Facebook for a long time, because I to some extent appreciate the long-winded conversations. I think that Twitter's slight increase in characters is helpful.
It's doubled, right?
Yeah, doubled. I think it's a good size
280 characters.
Yeah. Well, and they've also done the tweet storms, and they've made it easier to build multiple tweets, right? Like a tweet thread.
Yeah.
So I think Instagram Twitter is better and better for conversation, and especially for let's say going to look for conversations, right? To me, it's much more of a public space structure, more so than Facebook, because at least for me, the most of the people that, whether I'm interacting on, political pages, right? Whether it's a news reporter, a media page, the interactions are generally very diverse. Whereas, I don't know, Facebook just seems a little bit more with the groups and the pages. There's just more siloing of people. So again, not to say that there isn't a public square component, but I'm thinking more along the lines of cultivating conversation in a public square manner. I don't know, just seems like Twitter's, and maybe it has to do with who I follow too. So maybe that's just a little bit of my own perceptions based on my followings on the two platforms. Because I think Facebook, at least for me, has always been a little bit more people I know or have come in contact with, at least for the first maybe 10 years that we were on it. Whereas, because it was, I mean, I don't know about you, but I got it when I was in university and it was exclusive to university students.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like you had to have a university email address to get on Facebook when I was in university in 2008. And then it was like when I was finishing university, oh, if you have a high school email address, you can get on. And now everybody's on. So, right. Yeah, and so because of that, I think most of the people that I have on my Facebook are sort of through my life's journey, whereas Twitter was much more like people I didn't really, or is much more people I don't personally know. And that's where I think, that's where my comments about public discourse conversation, Twitter's a bit more like, at least again, for my followers who I'm following in my engagement, it seems much more public square and non-personal communications, whereas my Facebook interactions are not to say there aren't the ability to go to like a public person's page and comment, but my use of Facebook is much more, my friends and people that I'm connected with personally. But would you see it differently? I know Twitter's your weapon of choice, but I'm curious about the other Instagram and Facebook for you.
Yeah, no. I actually have a Pinterest. I have Pinterest.
I think my wife
I have a Twitter. Yeah. Tyra got me onto it. I was like, oh, Pinterest is pretty helpful. Yes, I have a Pinterest. I have a Twitter. I have a Facebook. I have Instagram. I have a LinkedIn. Don't have a Snapchat. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Snapchat. I don't know. I'm still not sold on how that can be helpful or practical. For the listeners, anybody who has a Snapchat, shoot me a line. Let me think. Let me know. It's because it says that Snapchat is most used platform among 12 to 24-year-olds, and roughly 70% of the users are female. Right? They have 300 plus million people on that platform compared to LinkedIn 260 million, Instagram 1 billion, Facebook 2.3 billion, Twitter 326 million, and Pinterest 250 million monthly active users.
Was that just for the list? Which link was that from? Was that from the
social infographic? This is from,
I think this is 2019.
2018. These are monthly active users that I just named.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously things will have changed a little bit, but I think it's still a
generally. So I would say my weapon of choice is Twitter. Actually, well, is it? You know what? No, it's like I just mentioned. Man, I'm on all of them, right? So for example, they all serve a purpose. So, Pinterest, I'm on Pinterest because I look up like style guides. I look at color patterns and how colors can be coordinated. So I always enjoy looking at how certain colors and clothes can be coordinated. So I check that out. I use that sometimes. Twitter, of course, for the podcast, but also I love Twitter because it's limited to 280 characters. So rarely do you ever see me doing a thread. Like I rarely ever do a thread. And I try to keep whatever comments I have within that 280, and I try not to go over. Short, to the point. But also I like the atmosphere on Twitter because people are a little bit more honest about how they feel, which I enjoy. It's a little bit more raw. It's a lot rougher, less polished than the other platforms. So it's a lot more exciting, a lot more funnier, a lot more controversial. So I like Twitter. Facebook, but some stuff I post on Twitter, I won't post on Facebook because it's a different audience. I have the most followers on Facebook. Like I have 1,400 followers on Facebook, but it's all, like family, friends, people I've met over the years. And I just post like family stuff, family stuff, me and Tyra, a couple jokes here and there, a couple social, controversial, funny stuff. Like the controversial stuff I post on Facebook are more like comedy stuff, like who has the better patties, right? I got in a lot of trouble for that. I got a lot of for saying Randy's patties weren't the best.
Oh, yeah. And it was an insensitive time, bro.
Yo, man, people, yeah, these guys came from my head, man. They're like, man, you're not really from the culture. But anyways, that's what they told me. But anyways, right? Yeah, no, they came from my head about the patties. So that's why I keep it strictly about patties and recipes and basketball. And then Instagram, more personal stuff. I don't post often. I don't post often, but I usually use it to Six Buzz is always funny. And then you know what? And I follow a lot of basketball trainers, a lot of sneaker blogs, basketball trainers, sneaker blogs, comedians. Yeah. And then LinkedIn is, just my professional page that I use for professional purposes. I'm trying to still build on my network, but all these platforms serve a purpose. All of them serve a purpose, and all of them I don't post everything on. Like something I'll post on Instagram, I won't post on Twitter because the people on Twitter wouldn't care about the post that I posted on Instagram. So everything serves a purpose.
No, that's good.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at my Instagram, back when it was active, I had, maybe like 20 pictures, like 30 pictures most, and like they've been over a long time. Like, dude,
personal? Is it personal?
Yeah, personal pictures. Like but my stories were where I was like going off, right on the just because it pushed to both Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, that's right.
It's sort of a different realm.
That's right.
And so again, my weapon of choice, but my Instagram page itself was like 30 pictures and spanning back to like 2015, I think, even maybe earlier. And just like I would post like 1 or 2 pictures a year. But I really consumed a lot of media or social media through Instagram. That was sort of like my first place to go. So, part of me is like, hey, maybe this will lead to me being one of those people who's not on social media anymore, which, it's a bit of a love-hate relationship with, you learn a lot, you engage a lot, but it's also a time suck, right? So.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, yeah. And you have had your share. Actually, I've had my fair share of, controversial back and forth with people on Facebook, but not as much anymore. It's just less. It's just like, man,
ain't nobody got time for that.
There's no like, man, there's no time for that. Yeah, you're right, man. There's more important things to do. Even on Instagram, like, there's no point. But now I guess that raises the point. Is it even worth it? Like in light of Elon Musk proposing to purchase Twitter, is it actually going to make a change, or is it worth it?
Well, and I guess some people would argue, Elon Musk is going to cultivate a different Twitter, and they think the current Twitter is good, and the type he's going to cultivate is bad.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Hold on. I just want to put this out for the listeners, for them who don't know the stats. So he's offering to buy Twitter for $43 billion. I
think it was like $54.20 a share, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that. So $43 billion. Now he is a stakeholder.
He had bought 9%. Or just over 9%.
Yeah. So he made it clear that this is not a financial investment, but an investment for the public good. So he says having a public platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is extremely important to the future of civilization. For Elon, he has almost as much as Twitter followers as I do. He has 81 million. He has 81 million followers on Twitter. Yeah, and so he says he wants to increase the public trust at the on the platform by making it a place of inclusivity and true freedom of speech, and so the feature, which is the feature of any functioning democracy. So, for example, he said he'll also add an edit button. Crucial. Crucial. This one's for you, Joel. He's also gonna, take care of the bots. Right?
Yeah, like I said, on
Right.
my and it's easy to spot a bot sometimes. Like the ones I'm talking about, they had like one follower and followed 20 people.
Yeah.
It's like the messages look half English, broken. Like you're like, this is a bot farm.
Yeah. And then content moderation, transparency, and no permanent bans, only temporary suspensions. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now to put it into perspective and kind of looking at it, Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook guy, he bought Instagram in 2012 for $1 billion, and WhatsApp in 2014 for $19 billion.
Sorry, the first one was Instagram, you said, for one.
Yeah, so that's when Facebook got Instagram for $1 billion in 2012. And then WhatsApp in 2014 for $19 billion.
Hi, I'm Darnell Samuels. You may remember me from such podcasts as Thanks Coach and the 6 Cents Report. When Joel and I are not studying for the next episode, we're paying bills for hosting and production. If you want to help us out, you can make a donation of any amount by clicking the Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes. If you broke, don't worry about it. You can subscribe and leave us a review on your podcast catcher. If you did this already, then you can share the show with a friend. Joel, Jezy, and I appreciate your support. Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Now, Mr. Musk said, if it's not, if the offer isn't accepted, he would reconsider his position as a shareholder.
Yeah, I think, and there's a lot of games going on, right? Like he got the 9.4%, then the board offered him a position on the board, and then he turned it down at the same time that he made this tender offer. Then the board has now done this thing called a poison pill, which essentially is that if anyone accumulates over 15%, they're going to sell or offer to sell at a discounted price new shares to maintain, so other owners can maintain their ownership, i.e. preventing a hostile takeover, because the board can issue new shares to continually dilute Elon's percentage of ownership. This is that it's called a poison pill. The reason why it's called a poison pill is because basically you're tanking the stock price in order to avoid a takeover. Because the reason you're tanking the stock price is because you're selling new shares at a price below market rate. Because the argument would be that Elon is buying more and more percentages at the market rate. And so the way that you can prevent this as a board is this poison pill approach. The dilemma is that I think I saw a stat somewhere floating around that the current board owns less than 1% of the shares of the company.
Really?
Because the primary shareholder of the board before was Jack Dorsey, and I think he was at 2.4%. And so Elon's at 9.4%. And part of the thing with the offering, they were offering Elon a board seat because that would have limited his ownership to 15%. No board member could have more than 15% ownership was currently one of the rules. if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So there's a lot of gamesmanship going on right now. If I'm not, is Elon going to turn around and get rid of his stake? I don't think so. I don't think it's over yet. I think you're likely to see, I think I saw something like Elon is looking to create a conglomerate. And conglomerate's not my word, not necessarily. It's basically that let's get 6 people to all own 15%. And now you're effectively majority owners as a group. Right? So now it's a coordinated hostile takeover, but it's still a hostile takeover.
Yep. If you can't beat them, buy them.
Yeah. And so, what's I guess, where do you think of the reforms, of, the direction? What do you think of all that? Do you think it's productive?
Yeah, I think it's good to I think it's worth fighting for what he's fighting for. And if he can get other guys to jump in on the venture. Because I think Twitter is, I think it is the best social media platform because it provides the political discourse, which is, I think, the most important back and forth we need. Right? No other social media really provides that kind of atmosphere like Twitter does. And so, in light of one we had a past guest who was on the show who recently you said got kicked off.
Twitter. Nick Hudson.
Was it Nick Hudson?
Yep.
Yeah, right. So and just kicking people off for having different opinions is definitely ruining the political discourse, which I think is the most important discourse. I think it's worth fighting for, and I hope he does win out, and Twitter can be more of an inclusive place for ideas.
Yeah, I think that's and you asked me, had I have any flags. I think, again, the only thing I can think of is, like, I shared someone else's tweet that had a flag. But we were talking about shadow banning on Instagram. Twitter has a similar shadow banning history, and the whole idea behind shadow banning as a term is that there's no clear indication that this person's account is hindered, or right, it's not flagged, it's not suspended, it's not under some
They're
sort
just
of
making it difficult with the algorithms,
but non-transparently, in a sense, right? Because that's why the word shadow ban is used, because there's no clear indication that you're banned or that your account doesn't get normal feedback, other than the fact that your numbers are at like 20% of what they used to be. Right? And so what it is it's shadow banning. I read this term. It's an attempt to limit an organic reach, and I thought that was a very good way or terminology of putting it, of what actually is happening. So yeah, because it's your natural audience that you would have been exposed to. Well, what did they do? Oh, they put, for example, go back to me. They push your story to the back of the line, so someone has to go look for you to find your content, as opposed to randomly, organically finding you, even within your own followers. Right.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, what's your whole 2 cents on this whole situation?
Well, and in my tweet, I was basically, when I was talking about my ban on Twitter, I sort of finished with, let's go
Twitter
Elon.
Or Instagram?
Or sorry,
Twitter or
my
Instagram?
post on Twitter about the Instagram ban, I basically was like, well, I guess I'm going full board on Twitter. Let's go Elon.
Did
I'm
you put a hashtag?
I hashtagged hate speech and then tagged Elon.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, sorry. And also, one of the things that I love about Twitter is you can get in touch. You can get in touch with the untouchable, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right. So some of the people you follow, you like, who have a lot of numbers, they're more likely to get back to you or respond to you on Twitter, and that's why
or
I
like
Twitter.
your comment, retweet your comment.
Yeah, retweet your comment, like your comment, so you have more interaction with them on Twitter. It almost seems like on Instagram and Facebook, there is no reason for them to interact with you per se.
Well, and again, that goes back to this whole silo thing that I was sort of getting at, right? With Twitter, you sort of are broadcasting, and and there's this live conversation going back and forth, people quote tweeting each other, that you just the interaction is I just want to say, like, more organically similar to what I would think about of like free speech discourse. And just like, whether it's a public debate or a sidewalk chat, right? There's this similarity to the nature of conversation, just whether it's the limitation of characters or whatnot. So my 2 cents is that, like, this is important. I think there's so much irony in a lot of the criticisms. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff in the show notes page regarding. So I've got 2 tweets from, there's this Twitter page called DefiantLs, which is about, essentially they post 2 tweets by the same person or similar people, usually the same person, that are completely contradictory. Right? So the example here is Robert Reich, who's this hardcore socialist. He has one tweet that says, this is from January 9th, 2021. And then on April 4th, 2022, when Elon's buying Twitter, is the second tweet. The first tweet says, anyone who's saying Twitter's ban violates the First Amendment doesn't know Twitter's a private company, and the First Amendment protects individuals against government. And then the irony is his tweet criticizing Elon says, what could possibly go wrong with an oligarch determining what constitutes free speech? So my point is, the irony here is that they want to support, or in this case, Robert Reich is like, hey, don't call it a free speech violation. It's Twitter. It's not, it's a private company, blah, 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 blah. But then, like, he's essentially arguing the same thing, the opposite thing, when it's someone like Elon, who he disagrees with as a capitalist, becoming in control. There's a similar one from Business Insider, August 5th, 2013. Billionaire Jeff Bezos, Washington Post, marks a fascinating culture transition in America. So they're praising Bezos' purchase of the magazine, or the newspaper Washington Post. And then they say on April 14th, 2022, Elon Musk's attempt to buy Twitter represents a chilling new threat. Billionaire trolls taking over social media. Right? So again, and you can see this with how many newspapers are owned by leftists, famous public,
or the government,
or well, yeah, okay, that's Canadian CBC. but the point is that when those people are in control of this, speech or communication tool, there's praise. But when a conservative person or a libertarian oriented person or someone who's not down with the agenda, it's pure demonization. And so really my 2 cents is that we're not, this just demonstrates the lack of willingness for one side to have a conversation. They want to censor, they want to remove the conversation. And generally speaking, the people that do that don't actually have the better argument. They are ideological and authoritarian, right? They have their way that they think it needs to be done, and authoritarianism is the means to execute it. Someone had asked me a question on one of my Facebook posts, sort of about this being an ideological as opposed to an authoritarian problem. And I said, sort of similar to something what I just said, which is, yes, they're ideologues, but without the authoritarian perspective, they wouldn't be censoring. Free speech wouldn't be an issue. Twitter wouldn't be sort of having this, you can't say that perspective. If they're trying to shape the conversation, as opposed to the free speech person with the perspective that they have the right opinion. When someone's spouting the wrong opinion, the answer to that is more information, not less. And censorship is about making less information and only giving you the approved information. So I think this Elon saga is my 2 cents is really that this Elon saga is shining the light on the authoritarian ways of the mainstream leftists. Because when a conservative or right-leaning individual is in charge, it's just throw bombs. at somebody, much like what happened with Trump. Again, not giving him any praise, just demonstrating, how's the media act differently with the left person versus the right person. What about you? What's your 2 cents on all this?
My 2 cents? Well, I have 3 4-letter words. Free Joel Jezy. That's my 2 cents.
Okay. That was short and sweet. I can agree. I can agree.
You can agree.
Although on this day we can rejoice in our freedom coming from other places. But yes, free me. Hopefully I get I mean if I honestly, my attitude is if they don't let me back, I don't know if I'm coming back to Instagram. I'm probably done. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. What's your 2 cents on this whole thing? You know where to find us. What is it? sixcentsreport at Gmail. And of course, follow us on social media while we still have it.
Yeah.
Right? Do good at Darnell, DOGUDDA_Darnell on Twitter, Facebook, and then
Instagram.
And that's also on Instagram. Darnell Samuels on Facebook. I'm not on Snapchat yet. Give me a reason to. Y'all, and I'll get on Snapchat and maybe even TikTok and do some dances. I like dancing. So who knows?
Yeah. You definitely hit it up at my wedding on the Soul Train, rocking it.
Yeah.
I was a bit of a spectator on that, but so I'll leave you to your TikTok dances, and I'll. So hit me up, TJoelN39, Twitter and Facebook. No longer on IG.
6 cents makes change.
But you heard me? Does that make sense?
Madden and Mitchell Media.